And I want to talk about a little bit of the crazy stuff that people had to say about the vaccine back when it first came out back in like 2021. Listen to what Kenneth Copeland had to say here. It's a good throwback to see how absolutely psychotic these people were at the time and how they just completely forgot about it.
The time has come
Hallelujah, Lord.
for ministries, particularly traveling ministries, to have some other method of travel
Yes, sir.
other than the airlines.
That's right. Yes, sir. Agreed.
Oh my God. This guy gets busted saying, I would never take a private or a public like plane anywhere, a commercial jet, because it's like getting in a tube full of demons. And this is like 10 years ago when he said it. And this guy is still trying to defend that statement to this day. Like, leave it alone, Kenneth. Like, move on. Everyone else has pretty much moved on with their lives. You can't just move on?
You get into this situation, we're not going to let you fly unless you're vaccinated. Well, to me, that's the mark of the beast.
Jesus, dude, these people are psychotic. There was so much false, just straight up lies spreading about the vaccine back then. This one is from mid-June 2021. This is Matt Staver. He is Kim Davis's attorney. Kim Davis is trying to overturn Obergefell right now, so I don't think Kim Davis was involved in Obergefell. No, she wasn't responsible for it, but this is Kim Davis's attorney. He is directly responsible for the threat that gay marriage is under right now at this immediate moment. Listen what he said all the way back in 2021 about the vaccine.
I had two women coming to my wife actually, and they said, you know what? I don't have the shot, but I just visited my relatives and I stayed the weekend with them, and now I have 2 cycles a month. I've never had that. And we've had that with 2 women in our office, same thing. And then other people. So then I started putting this out, and I've talked to doctors and they're seeing it in their practice.
This is just a lie, what he's saying here. It did not mess up people's reproductive anything. It's just it's fictitious trash.
And so what we found was a woman who, for example, hasn't had the shot, but her husband did, but she's now sleeping, in the bed with her husband, not having any intercourse. They're older people, and they just are sleeping together.
Hey, come on now. I understand that old folks' homes are hotbeds of STDs. That's what I've been told.
What shot are we talking about?
The COVID vaccine. Yeah. So just kind of glancing through here, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this. I believe that there's a study that showed 20% of hospitalized patients with COVID, not the shot, with COVID, experience longer cycles or reduced volume, but most return to normal within 1 to 2 months after being discharged from the hospital. And this, the vaccine saved so many lives. It's ridiculous. And the fact that these people were dead set on demonizing it and turning it into this monster is vile and evil and wrong. Like, he's straight up lying about all of this stuff. Why?
But now she's starting post-menopausal, having bleeding cycles again. We have people that are 9 months post-menopause, 9 months post-menses. They haven't had a cycle in 9 years. 9 years. So this lady now no longer sleeps in the same room with her husband because
Right. Is this guy aware of how the human body works? Did he say, I'm sorry, one more time.
Post-menopausal, having bleeding cycles again. We have people that are 9 months.
Okay, from what I'm reading, that is technically possible, but is extremely unlikely. And of course, he's provided us literally no evidence for any of this other than to say he knows this person. He hasn't even given us any names or anything. And aside from all of that, it doesn't matter because we now know that the whole thing was fabricated. There was never any issue. Nobody lost the ability to reproduce because of the vaccine. It was all made up trash by scumbags who are trying to demonize it to try to make it less likely that people would get vaccinated. Why? You got me?
Post-menopause, 9 months post-menses. They haven't had a cycle in 9 years. 9 years. So this lady now no longer sleeps in the same room with her husband because every time she does, she bleeds.
That's not how it works.
We've seen multiple women who are post-menses start to have bleeding in cycles. We've seen young women. I've had young girls that have gone with us on our Covenant Journey trip. They're having multiple bleeding. I have a great niece. She's had a cycle that's gone on for now almost 8 weeks, and it doesn't stop. This is just in the menstrual cycle. I've had people who've had.
Why is this guy so zeroed in on other people's cycles?
And these are all non-vaccinated people. They have been around them, and right after coming away from them, family members or at work. I have people who.
Oh, that's a good point. I've been debunking the claim that the vaccine caused this stuff. He's not even saying people got vaccinated. He's saying these people were around people who got vaccinated. That's not how vaccines work. That's not how the human body works. This guy's a lawyer, a very, very famous lawyer, the leader of Liberty Counsel, I believe, a massive right-wing think tank. He knows better. He's lying.
They say they go to work and they bleed at work. They come home and they don't bleed. I had people with rashes that have gone on for months.
Then why didn't any of this show up in the data? Literally none of this showed up in the data. What happened?
I've had people say, I've gone to someone who had the shot at church. I hugged them cheek to cheek. That afternoon, my cheeks started having the rash. It went to the rest of my body. My daughter had the same exact thing with a similar experience. So what we're now seeing is that there is some kind of transmission and or shedding, whatever word you want to do, from a person who has one of these shots to somebody who doesn't have the shots.
It was nonsense all along. Vaccine shedding as a concept does exist, but it depends on the type of vaccine you're getting. There are different methods of producing vaccines. One example would be to take a bunch of the virus particles or whatever and put them in a substance that kills the virus, deactivates it, and then give the deactivated virus to people, and the immune system recognizes it as a foreign body, learns what it looks like, learns its DNA, and produces antibodies or whatever to protect against it. That's one example. And you can give these like vaccines in different ways. There are oral vaccines. You drink this stuff and it prevents you from, getting this illness. There were, as we all know, there are a lot of poor African countries, impoverished, and they don't have the money for good vaccines. And a while back, there was a polio outbreak in one of these African countries because they didn't have enough to pay a company to do it right, and they didn't deactivate all of the virus particles before sending it out. And these people were drinking this polio vaccine and actually getting polio from it. That happened years and years ago. You have to know what you're doing and don't go cheap, basically, when you're trying to do this. When that happens, when you actually catch the illness, you can spread the illness after having caught it, and that's called vaccine shedding. That doesn't happen with the COVID vaccine. That's literally not possible with this type of vaccine because it's an mRNA vaccine, not like you're not truncating the virus in the same way as with others. So these people are just lying. They were lying all along. And I think that we have all the evidence we need to determine that now, right? They were completely full of it. And why? Why did they lie? Why did they do this? It got countless people killed. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. These people are just shameless. They are shameless.